terrifying, not horrifying, but terrors, not nice dream. So basically, in the dream, I was in Korea, and I know what kind of influenced the dream. Before I fell asleep, I was watching. Um, there's this food blogger. He's a Chinese food blogger called Mike Chen or something like that, and he was in Korea trying different foods. And why was I watching this one? I don't mind watching that stuff. And then, um, no, no, I still have some part of me that still wants to go back to Korea. But in the dream, I was in Korea, and I was with like a group of people traveling. Majority of them were African American males. They just happened to be going, right? And we were walking across like some kind of lake or pond. We were near the ocean, but there was a strip of land that went through, and then there's like a long, shallow lake or pond or something. And the water was like a blue green, a light blue green, but more greenish blue. And it wasn't clear see through water, of course. The only place I've seen that is in Miami. But we were walking, and I didn't know at first that it didn't dawn on me that it was my mom until later. But we were walking across that very shallow body of water. When I say shallow, it was like maybe 6 inches to our ankles. But I don't know if it was really the water or just the stepping stones that we were going across that were approximately about 4 inches under the water that gave the impression. But I think there were parts that were that shallow as well. In a dream, like I said, it was a traveling group, but I didn't really catch on to that at first because it was my mom, and my mom was in a bikini, like a burnt orange or orange sienna, something like that bikini. And I didn't catch on that it was mom at first. It was just in the beginning, it was just us trying to get to a food destination, and my mom was kind of leading the way. And I didn't realize the guys were with us at first either until there was a point where, man, you guys, this is a scary dream, but now I don't even know if it's scary, but sad maybe. I don't even know if it was scary, but not in the way that you would think. So my mom, she was leading the way. My mom's always looked young, but even since the last time I saw her. So, so yeah, so following my mom, and I didn't know those guys were really with us. I was just happily following her, and I didn't know it was my mom at first either. It was just a lady. But then we got to this little teeny pond area, and the water there was like breast high, maybe, like just covering your chest. And I was there, and there was an older Korean woman that was chunky like me, but she was strictly Korean, and she was doing something. Maybe she was catching fish or something for our dinner. I don't know what the deal was. But the fishing was different. It was like she was just grabbing whatever's under the water, right? And preparing things. That was the feeling I got, was that she was working, but she was with us, if that makes sense. But my mom, she was in the water, and I wasn't paying much attention to her. We were all real close. Like she was within 4 to 5 inches of me, right? And in that part of the dream, I got the feeling that she was older, even though she still looked the same. And she kept, this is so scary to me. I wasn't really paying attention because I thought she was just having fun, but she kept going under the water. And then um, that's when the other black guys were there. And like I said, there was maybe 3 of them, and they were traveling differently. They looked like they were maybe early 20s. Very dark skinned. One had really, really long dreads, and the other one short. And I think they just wanted to be somewhere different. So I wouldn't say they were with us, but they happened to catch up to where we were, and perhaps we may have been on the same flight together or something. But we weren't interacting. But so my mom kept going under, and I kept saying, and then one of them came to help me pick my mom up. So they picked my mom up. Man, it just dawned on me. Something just dawned on me. That was creepy. But they came to pick my mom up. And so from that point on, she was just sitting in front of me, kind of. And I didn't pay any attention to it. And then she went underwater, like face down. And I thought she was just swimming or something. But then, I picked her up and I was like, Mom, what are you doing? And I couldn't see her face. And in the dream, for some reason, her she was a little thicker than usual. She normally weighs like 135, but in the dream, she was a couple pounds heavier. And she kept going face down under the water. So I thought, okay, maybe she just wants to swim. So I kept picking her up. And then it's like I got this strong compulsion that I needed to see her face to make sure she was okay. The guys were the only ones that were facing her. And I said, "Can you guys help me?" I was like, "Mom, Mom." And she wasn't saying anything. I turned her around a little bit so I could see her. And her eyes were like blue, like fully blue. Like it was like she was dead and I didn't know it. You know what I'm saying? Like somehow she died. Somehow between us walking across the water and getting there, she died. So I don't know what the deal was, but I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but it's like she was dead. And I was holding her, and that's when I woke up. Um, that is horrifying. Usually when I think of horrifying, I think of something that makes you scream or jump scare, but no, it wasn't none of that. It was horrifying because one, that's your mom, and then two, you're thinking she's alive, and then three, she's dead or something really different is going on. And that was it. I woke up, but again, I think the dream may have been partially inspired because I was watching all these Michael Chen or whatever, but he was in Korea and the places he were in doesn't look anything like the settings in my dream. The dream was old school, like back in the day. But I guess there's nothing I could do about a dream. It's a dream. And, am I going to go check on my mom? No, because she's made it clear that she doesn't want anything to do with me. So, um, I mean, this is just so sad to me. It reminds me of my allergies are still real bad, you guys. And they were fine up until like maybe about quarter to 12 or so. And I've had the show on in the background and going in and out of sleep ever since. But the allergies are awful. Like my whole sinuses, my eyes, everything. So, yeah. So what's sad about it is when I think of my mom and I think of how she came here from Korea and she left her family. I don't know if my grandma told her to leave or did the same thing that my mom told me, basically disowned her in her own way. And I remember asking my mom, why don't you go back to Korea so that when it's time for you to pass on, you can see your mom before she passes because she's not going to live forever. That was back in the day. I was like 15. My mom was the age I am now, ironically. Uh, but she's like, there's no way for her to get back. One, the money issue. And it's so weird to me that, you talk about money and stuff. And for my mom, I can understand us not having money. But it's scary to me that I don't have money. It's scary to me for me to be it's scary that I don't have kids or anything. And I remember when I asked her, she was just like, "Oh, it's $1,000 round trip," and I don't think she really knew either way. And I think it probably is a few $1,000s, but um I don't know. I feel so lost now. Like, Korean heritage has always been very important to me because, and I guess I feel it feels kind of selfish for me to think about it because you have to imagine how my mom feels. She came somewhere, didn't know or didn't have anything, and basically it was a sacrifice she made. And even if she went back to Korea now, it doesn't look like anything she remembers. And she made it clear that Virginia's not my home, but even when I went back there, nothing's the same, really. So, and then I thought about family and how I don't have any, and maybe I could find maybe, and that's a stupid thought too, because I was thinking how maybe I could find, my mom's side of the family there, but if your own mother didn't want you, and then if she departed from her family, there's always more to the story than She may have I don't even feel comfortable calling her my harmony anymore, but she may have told my mom to go. And I feel lost because for a long time, that's always been part of my culture or my identity. Even when I strayed from it, I had, and that's part of why I wanted to go back to see my mom in 2015. But, I always understood why that happened. It was because of everything that went on in my life. And then, it would have been easy for me to pick back up. But I don't know. Then I started remembering dreams that my mom had when she was in Korea, about walking down a country road. And as she was walking, a hand came out of the grave and grabbed her ankles. And then there's different things that I saw as well. And I always wondered, and I don't remember this conversation fully, but somebody said that we might have a family curse. So I asked my mom about that, and she didn't really answer fully. I don't know. Because also, even though it's like only 40 years or so difference since the last time my mom has been to Korea or we have been to Korea, but things have changed a lot, and a lot of the little bit of heritage that she showed us while we were here or that we were able to keep means a lot because you get stripped of a lot of stuff, religion and everything. And if there was something different, just like with African American cultures, the religion, they say that a lot of the black churches, it really stems from old African American voodoo and stuff. So when you see people shouting in churches and stuff like that, and I was scared to talk about this, and I probably shouldn't be talking about it now, but when you see people shouting in churches, it's basically conjuring spirits. That's the way the Africans used to do it. So that carried over into the early black churches. And I remember having, and some of it I'm scared to talk about, I'm not going to talk about, but I know some of the correlations and things are true because I've experienced some things I haven't experienced firsthand, and I don't want to because that's not a gift that I have. But I know people that have, and then they told me specific situations, and then I saw things that where other people shared specific situations. I was like, dang, that's the exact same thing. So I don't know, but I feel lost, and the reason I feel lost, is one. To me, if your parent passes or close to that time, you should be around. And that was another reason why I wanted to be close. But again, you know, the idealism between what what we think. Excuse me for just a minute. I have to take care of something real quick. So back to my dream, and how I'm feeling. So yeah, so when I woke up, I was really shook. It's like I was holding my dead mom, and we were in the water thinking we were just waiting, for the lady to catch our food so we can go have dinner in a Korean restaurant. But um so yeah, so I feel I feel lost, and it's weird for me to say that because when I say that, it's just like zhoo, 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 zhoo. It takes me back in the history and past to when the last time I saw my sister before, she made it clear that, you know, that there was no sisterhood. I remember her confiding in me that she felt lost. This was about the time my brother had um, my niece, or pregnant. Well, you know what I mean. His family was pregnant with my niece, and she said she felt so lost, and I didn't understand saying that. I didn't understand what she meant. And then when I think about it, I don't know. I don't know why she felt lost. I asked her about it, and she couldn't. Maybe she could, but she didn't really clearly tell me. And I didn't know if it was because she had the baby, my other niece, my oldest niece, and maybe things weren't going as she planned with the father. I don't know. I don't know what the situation was, but it's like deja vu because in this moment at 45, nearly 40, and it's only a month to my birthday, I got to make a move and decide what I'm going to do. But I don't know. And I know that I have to do something different because I can't keep trying to do as I have been doing. I mean, in the worldly sense, the prudent way to do this is for me to stay put, to keep my businesses, to find a company to fund my business because, having steady income while you have your businesses so that you can invest and stuff like that. And, but the trauma that I experienced from, just me focusing on my goals, it pulls away. Just like for this situation that I'm in now, it's like part of me is saying, okay, what comes first is, the outside employment comes first. But, and it's like out of wisdom, the first time around, I didn't want to do that at all. And it broke my heart when I had to. But the wisdom part of me is saying, yeah, it's definite that you need it. But then another part of me is saying, yeah, I need it, but maybe God is giving me incremental steps because now for the funding for the businesses, I can work on those because I know where I'm going with that. But it's scary because once again, I don't want to be put into a situation where, I mean, I'm a good person at heart, so I don't want to be put in a situation where I have to scramble and that makes somebody else have to scramble. I don't want to do that. It's one thing if it's just me and whatever I'm doing or not doing is just affecting me. But if it affects other people, and that's other people in general, you don't have to. I treat everybody the same. I can't, when there's other people to be considered, I can't do that, And that's part of the reason I didn't have children because I didn't want to be put into a situation where I would have to do something or behave a certain way or whatever for kids, because I don't want to compromise my values and who I am. But when I think back about it, that's the scary part I'm thinking about now is that at 46 years old, you might as well say 46, I only have a month. If I have kept those same values and maintained that system within myself all this time and nothing has come of it, and people have knowingly said things to me like, oh, you know, they would do something to me physically, and somebody would be like, oh, don't do that. And they'd be like, oh, it doesn't matter. I can do whatever I want to her because she's not going to do anything anyway. And that was as a result of the legal system. You're not able to take up for yourself. And then, in situations now, and I believe God puts you in repeat situations because, or the greater universe or whatever does, because it wants you to stand up. But it's like, it's hard for me to stand up in these situations because it's like, it's one thing you want to focus on your goal for one. And two, I don't want to, I know what the legal system is. And so I'm not taking anybody to court. You know what I'm saying? And I guess, I'm fine with that. I just have to let their conscience be the ones that convict them or that judge them. But what do you do in situations when people don't have a conscience, you know? But I guess in that part, there's nothing I can do about that. The only thing that I can do is to make sure that they are aware that I know, and put it out there. But it takes time to even do that. And I don't want to waste my time fighting someone, whether it's mentally, verbally, or whatever. I just want to focus on my goals. But then when you think about it this way too, you know, my goals is just to, live life peacefully and happily for the rest of it. Like I said, if you look from a worldly sense, the smart thing would be, you know, getting whatever you're doing funded by an outside job, right? And invest and grow and take the time off to study and learn and, continue to work on your businesses. But like I said, it causes the outside thing causes me so much. It puts a wrench in it because then you have to just, it's trauma for me, undo situations or I guess I have to get the real world under my belt that, hey, people lie. People do things that aren't right. And when people lie, they will lie to your face. And for someone, I'm in a vulnerable position because, and a lot of companies say this, they say, oh, we're a family or whatever. And that's something that I need. I need a family, but they don't really mean that, they don't. And it puts you in a situation where you're vulnerable if you want to believe it, or they, and you want it so bad that when they say that, or if they do something small, you're like, okay, maybe this is the right one, I'm going to trust them. But it's not. And I have to learn, to understand that and realize that and separate my heart and soul from it. But the thing about it that makes it tough is that for me, being as genuine as I am, I can't see myself working somewhere or being somewhere where I feel like I can't trust people, where I feel like I can't give my all and be my 100%. Or I feel like I'm living in duality where I'm watching people out the corner of my eye. That's not where I want to be. I don't want to give my time or energy to anything that would make me feel that way. I don't, I know it's a cutthroat world, but I can't, it's not in my nature to be that way. So that's what makes it hard for me. But even though, I know what my goals, and then know what my goals are, and then I have to put those things that have traumatized me from that, I have to put those aside and focus on my new things, and then, but it's always there until I have an opportunity to address it, which I may never have, because then once I get focused on this and then I get this endeavor, then my goal is going to be getting that down pat so I don't have to think about it. It's second nature, and then working on my businesses. But the thing is, it's like, it's not working out that way. It's not. And the other part of me is saying, okay, I've had a month now. Have I had a month? No, not really. But I have time now. And it's like, part of me is saying, okay, we'll focus on getting your funding and all this and all that. But then if I could 100% focus on that, that would be good. But the thing, so I'm battling that. I'm battling one, past traumatic experiences from past employment and future employment to come. Then two, the second thing that I'm battling is the division, is the knowledge. The knowledge, just like the Bible, it has things that are applicable to real life, figuratively speaking, even though everything may not be pure. You can learn from everything, but having the knowledge of good and evil. So now that I have the knowledge that I have to, you know, be employed while I do this, I mean, it's tough because now that I have that knowledge, I really am dedicating part of my time to that. And So that's the second thing. I have knowledge that I have to do that. But the thing is that I'm not two-faced or double-sided. So once I put my gears in gear that way, that's what it's going to be. And it's like once you start getting acclimated and good, it's like things start to, you have too much control. So people try to move and maneuver things around. Um, and then the third part that I'm battling is all my stuff. That's like a nightmare. I'm battling that, you know. If I could just get rid of everything, I'll be good to go. But it's like it's feel like it's steps that I have to take, and part of me feels like I'm still being enslaved because, and I am because I can't even do my own thing unless I make sure that I have steady income. Even if you have quote unquote money, you need to always ensure that you have steady because once you get focused on what you're doing, that might run out after a while. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I don't know. But I still have a real strong sense and urge of I don't ever want to put anybody in a bad situation. I'd rather be the one, you know, to inconvenience myself rather than inconvenience somebody else. And then I'm not young anymore, so you know, I don't feel like I should just be picking up and going like that, you know. Um then the other portion of it is I don't really know what I'm going to do. And in a way I think that, and when I say that, I mean as far as logistically, you know, um, I talked about the three obstacles that I have right now: trauma from past and future employment experiences, two, the knowledge that I have and how it's dividing me between being, in a way, it's kind of altruistic. It's just staying to the norm, which is, you know, me seeking that outside employment funding or whatever, and then, you know, wanting to keep working on my businesses, but doing it in the order that the world wants you to do it in, you know, which is would be or which would work best for the world would be me getting employment, and then but then that traumatizes, you know. It's I've never been, I'm gonna be honest, I've not been to, you know, that's not where my path should be. And I've known that since 24, since 20 actually, when you go back to it, and that's my age, not the year. So 46 is 26 years later, and I give myself leeway because of the legal thing, you know. I give myself leeway because I experienced life and it's, you know, a relationship that kind of hurt me. So, but you know, I can't give myself any more leeway because it's time. You know, time is passing, and I want to be able to enjoy life a little bit. But talking about back to heritage and things like that, and just for whoever commented, I saw y'all comments, whatever. But I just saw them when I came back from taking care of what I had to take care of. But I typically don't get into those until after I get out whatever I'm trying to get out when I'm speaking, because sometimes you get trolls and it'll take you away completely. And my goal is to share my experience and to, it's basically a vlog, okay? It's a journal. So, but I will go back and I will look at them at the end. So if they're gone and you happen to come back, you will get a response, right? And some of the questions, you know, annoy me sometimes. I get annoyed by stuff because I'm just like, that's just a silly question. I wouldn't say it that way, but it's just, it's so removed from, you know, the reality of the basics of things, you know. So, but anyhow, the answers to questions are. But yeah, so, and then the third dilemma is again, just getting rid of everything. I don't want anything anymore. I don't want any physical items. I mean, just give me a cargo van, an office set up in the cargo van, and I'm good to go. I don't need anything else. I don't want anything else, you know. And if my businesses get off the ground ever, I can just do my businesses and be okay. And I don't care if I only make minimum wage coming in on the businesses. I don't care. It's mine. And no more trauma, hopefully. You know, just don't want no trauma. That's all. I don't need any more trauma. You know, I don't need. And the thing is, I didn't identify those things that happened as trauma because, you know, it wasn't anything physical. But trauma is trauma and it's trauma. So, and to continuously, it doesn't make sense to continuously put yourself in those situations. So, yeah. Quick break to give a shout out to those people that were on my last live that kind of helped me out. I forget the name. Oh yeah, one was London Bully, and the other one was Mr. I think Anthony Bush or something like that. But yeah. So yeah, that dream was traumatic. But I've never had a dream like that where you're holding a dead person, and then let me think about the past dreams I had. Are they leading up to this thing at all? I don't think so. And I didn't finish my tarot readings. So I'm gonna finish those. But yeah. So those are the three things that are stopping me or that are challenges for me. Again, trauma from past and future work, outside work. Two, knowledge of what you're supposed to do per the system versus what is, meaning, I'm supposed to find outside employment first so that I can fund my businesses steadily and make sure that, I'm doing that steadily. But then I wonder, am I messing myself up? Because with each break that I have, should I be running towards my businesses? But it takes me a moment to get back into gear with the businesses, and I don't have time because part of it I think is healing, you know. You have to heal from whatever trauma you had. So part of it is me re getting together with myself. Like when I went back through all of my tasks and things, I could see where I left off on the things that I was working on. Um, and part of me thinks that, hey, you might be right there, but now you're quitting, working on your business. Not really quitting working on your businesses, but you're not focusing on that. You're focusing on this other thing when really you're so close. You could be so close because. And the answer to that really is that not to put all my time into funding through other companies, but I need to break up my time. Like I was saying before, maybe spend an hour doing that. And I talked about it. The three things that I need to work on immediately: outside funding, my businesses, and cleaning. Just getting rid of everything, pretty much, and intertwining those an hour. Hour this, hour that, and so forth. But it doesn't really work that way. Oh, guys. And some of these employers are getting really bold with stuff that they're having you do that when you are not at work. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, but I don't know. So, and I feel stuck. And I really feel like, and I remember seeing this thing where I don't know if it was like Hoarders or what it was, or Nanny or something about how they were saying how basically your environment can make you fat or unproductive and whatever. But I remember my mom always kept everything spotless. And I remember how she, actually, I think I had somebody's black mom that was close to me tell me this too. But my mom, oh, she used to say, I don't know how, because when I'm good, as far as being clean, when I'm good, I'm real good. Like, oh my God, good. You can lick off the floor anywhere in the bathroom, wherever. But when I'm bad, it's like, what in the world? You know what I mean? When I'm bad, when I'm bad, it's bad. I remember one time in college, there was an Ethiopian girl, I forget her name. She came over and she was just like, I told her I wasn't going out. I was just going to stay home and clean up. And she was like, but doesn't it seem like a lot? And I was like, yeah, but it'll get done. It'll just take a little time. And she was just like, yeah, it looks like a lot, but, it doesn't smell or anything like that. And, it's true. It doesn't, but it's stuff everywhere. Like you'll accumulate on the tables, you take off your clothes and throw them on the table, or you come and bring groceries and everything that's non-perishable. You throw everything on the table. Okay. That's basically what it is. And then you have a bunch of tables and you have a bunch of tables full of stuff. And then I have other stuff that, really need to go, like old clothes and stuff. But, Yeah. So I guess the good thing about it is I don't think, even though I still love people and I'm good to people, I don't think I'm as trusting of people as before. And I've watched a couple of TikTok channels where I really related to these people, and some of these people I could tell they were really, really good people, but when they were talking, it sounded a little crazy because you could tell that they've been through a lot, and you could tell that the not good side was coming out. Like there was this one girl, I watched literally all of her videos. Like in the background, I would fall asleep and be working on my quote unquote funding thing or whatever. But I remember seeing how loving she was, and I remember that's kind of how I was. I think when nature, I can't speak for all, but from what I can see, we need to have people to love. We don't necessarily need to, I mean, get anything, like people talk about people looking for money and this that, and the other, but we just need to have somebody or something to love, whether it's like, family. And I'm not having no family of my own, definitely not. But you know extended family, just somebody that you can somehow cater to up to a certain extent, or bring meaning, to. And that's all you could tell that she wanted. She had her kids and everything, but when I watched and she was going through this bad divorce with her husband, who's fairly attractive, who she finds out is on the down low, which I think pretty much every black man is these days. And they got different names for that now. Trade. I forget what all that stuff means, but stuff I learned on TikTok. But um, you could tell by the way she held her man. You know, you could tell he found comfort in her, and she could tell that it brought comfort to her to be able to comfort somebody. But at the end of the day, you know, um, he was on the down low. And so that's another thing. I'm so far out of the game. I don't have to worry about any of that. But and I remember, and some of the stuff I'm about to tell you guys is like similar to some of the stuff that lady was saying. She'd say stuff, and the stuff she was saying, you would be like, it would make you think she's kind of off because, and I could understand where she was coming from because stuff like that do happen. But when people talk about it, it just, especially if it's clear that you've been through some things, it just seems off. And that was what was that lady talking about? She was talking about stuff that if you saw somebody as a normal person, it's like, okay, just an interesting conversation. I won't be talking, but she was talking about aliens and how, if they are there, she would wish they would come and take her, just silly stuff. And I don't think she was being silly. I think she was being serious. But these days, you never know. But for me, I guess my stuff people would think is just off the wall if I said it. I guess God don't want me to say it because I forgot now. But oh yeah, I know. Like even a few years ago, like some other people have said this too, though, but I haven't seen this in a real long time. Like I remember when I first did my YouTube channel, there were people that would be you would click on the subscribers and they were really scary looking, like old white men from some European country, and the look in their eyes were crazy. And just like now, I have a thing on POF, but it's not for dating. When I'm on these things, it's not for that. It's accountability partners, and those places are the places that um, more readily have people that are looking for people. But I'm starting to realize that all these people are just like they're looking for things I'm not. And on my profile, I clearly say accountability partner is what I'm looking for. Find what relationship is means to me. It means just relating to someone, having someone to connect with, keep you accountable. I'm not looking for a romantic relationship. I'm looking for people to relate to. I mean, I'm a 46-year-old woman. I need to somehow make a connect. I need to. Because there's got to be somebody else that has goals, kind of like I have goals, that doesn't have anybody else in this world. that, need some support and encouragement and have definite moral values and are heading towards them. But again, could use some support and encouragement. We're flowers. We need a little sunshine to grow, So, but lately I've been getting like weird stuff like um you can I remember seeing this thing. Oops, I'm thirsty again. I remember seeing this thing on one of the talk shows. I think it was a talk show. I don't really do talk shows anymore, but it was something where they were featuring how, like Dateline or something like that. It wasn't really a talk show. Excuse me. But they were featuring, Nigerian scammers and how these white women in the U.S. and it's understandable. You know what I'm saying? Would end up giving them all their money. You never see a black woman doing it, though. It's always a white woman. But a white woman in the U.S. would end up giving these African scammers like all of their money and stuff, and never seen them a day in their life. They would have like it was just a whole relationship via phone. And they would never Skype or nothing like that. It was crazy. But those things do exist and I deleted mine, but because they'll come in and they won't tell you they're from another country. But the difference is, and being a female of Afro descent, the difference of it is this: that um, if you're dealing with, and I hate to say this, but for the people that come to me, like the African American men, the level of conversation or communication is not there. It's always, you could put something on your profile. Like I said, I'm looking for an accountability partner. Hey, what you looking for on here? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you don't even want to respond. But then when you get people, again, that are not necessarily of African American descent, males, if they're from, and it's sad to say, they're a scammer from the scammer from Africa. They, you could tell they obviously read your profile, and then they will write these long, because that's how they work. That's how they're making their money. And that's why it's so easy. I think the culture of African American men to women in the U.S., a lot of it is based on disrespect. And it's allowed. Hold on, you guys. I gotta go take care of something real quick. Yeah, my allergies are just killer, but um, yeah. So I can understand, even though it's mostly white women that well, not mostly, I haven't seen any black women get caught up in that. But what happens is that the communication is different. Um, if someone from Africa, even though they don't introduce themselves as African, and whatever picture they post, they'll post like a light skin or a light brown skin male. Um, gosh, these allergies are crazy. They'll communicate with you in a way to let you know that, hey, I've read this profile, I've read everything on here, and I'm hearing you and taking in consideration whatever your wants and needs are. Whereas if you have a Black American male say something, it's nothing. It's basically testing you to see if you're even going to respond to nothing. It's again your burn test, seeing what they can do. It'll be just hello without any reference to your profile, and then ask you about things that are on your profile that they clearly know are on your profile because it's on their profile too, like where you at and stuff like that. So it's a waste of time. So I can see how if a female, and like I said, I've never seen a Black female do it, or a woman of ethnic descent. It's just the white women, usually blonde hair, blue eyes, and a little overweight and real sweet and friendly. Um, and then some other things that I learned too that may or may not be true from TikTok. I was telling you about how there was a lady on air that um, her husband was on a DL, right? And then, you know, because I was watching her videos, I guess other videos came into the logarithm where, saying how to tell if a guy's DL. And I never knew this, but there's this thing where they're saying that if a guy a black guy dates white women, or something else, I feel dates white women, or something about, or marries a white woman, they're on the DL. And then there were a lot of people that said like their grandmas and stuff told them that in high school. And it's because I guess they're saying that the white women are more apt. And, again, I don't care who dates who, because my mom dated a guy that wasn't Korean and my father dated a woman that wasn't Black. So there you go. Obviously, and they got married. So, that they're on the DL because a white woman will do those things, you know, will get into those things intimately that DL guys do and keep it a secret because they want to keep the man. But anyhow, I don't know about all of that because I'm not dating. I will never date again. And I thank God for that. And I'm happy, happy about that. But I do want to make a successful, network of friends, that have goals and dreams and that are working towards them and that we can work towards them together. And when I say together, I mean, it's just, hey, these are my goals and this is what I'm working on. They're sharing their goals and what they're working on. And every now and then to keep each other accountable, maybe every few days, we'll find out how far along is it that they've gotten to how close have they gotten to their goals since the last time we chatted, and vice versa. We need encouragement for that. It's so easy to get lost between the cracks. And that's what homelessness is. People that got lost between the cracks of society. I always said that. It's a socioeconomic disease, and once you're in, people that are just above you, they can't wait to get their teeth in because it makes them feel good. That was another topic, how people show videos of them doing things for homeless people. And they didn't ask could they video that person. I know when I was in my situation, I would be like, no, 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 no. But then some homeless people get mad because they're like, oh, they're giving us stuff. And, but it's not worth that. They would say things that weren't true about what you must have had to do because you're homeless. No, that's not true at all. That's not how, people normally operate. There are some people that have gone through that, but not everyone. But I digress. But again, back to feeling lost. I don't know what my next step is. And I guess if I don't know, then the thing is to stay put and slowly work towards. How do I feel? Did I spend my day yesterday? Overall, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say about an 8. I mean, I was happy. I got done the stuff that I need to do personally, mostly. There's one thing that was left out, and that's something that I could definitely work on. I didn't pressure myself. The bad thing is I did not clean anything. I did not. I ate good yesterday. I put the survey up about what to eat, but what I ended up doing was kind of like an all-day buffet as needed, as expected. I did I did the fried catfish with the homemade tartar sauce. That was really, really excellent. And of course, my garlic butter potatoes. I did that. I also did the fried pork, but I did it a little differently. And I think this is what got me thinking about Korea again. Because I did it like Haitian style the first time. I cut it up in little teeny chunks. And this was the day before yesterday. I cut it up into really teeny tiny chunks. Gosh, these allergies are crazy. Bear with me just a minute. Yeah, so and that's another thing I have to do. I have to do shopping like for groceries and toiletries. I just need to get a whole bunch of toilet paper as usual, and probably like I'm gonna start making cheesecakes because I'm almost out of the cakes that I have. So probably lots of cream cheese and sweetened condensed milk and some lemon juice will do it for me. Maybe some graham cracker crumbs. Who knows? Oh, but anyways, back to what I made yesterday. So for the pork on Saturday, I did it like Creole style, like Haitian Creole style. I cut it into tiny chunks and air fried it to a crisp, 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 like Creole. But yesterday, unintentionally, I did it Korean style. Kind of. I didn't have any ginger, so kind of, kind of Korean style. Kind of like the same marinade that you would make for bulgogi. I did my pork like that. I still cut it up into bits, to like quarter-inch chunks or whatever, quarter-inch to an inch. And then when I got tired, it ended up being like whole strips, but I just sliced it all the way down to the fat, right? And then for the marinade, I did sesame seed oil, soy sauce, chopped up some onions, and some garlic, and some red pepper. And this is how what made me feel bad too, because before when I did anything that was similar to a Korean dish, I would have to. It's like my soul wouldn't let me do it any other way. I would have to make sure I had all the Korean ingredients for it. And I do have Korean red pepper flakes, but I didn't use that. I used regular red pepper and I used cayenne pepper, and I didn't even care. And usually I would not do that because to me that's just disrespectful. But I did, and I didn't care. And part of it's because I remember my mom used to always tell me always use the Korean red pepper, but I didn't. And it still came out pretty good, even though I didn't have the ginger. It came out good, and I only marinated it probably like 30 minutes to an hour before I did my first round, and it was so beautiful. It was so good. And then I also made some homemade mini homemade biscuits. I don't know if you call them drop biscuits, but basically with just the flour, water, um, rancid milk, and what else I put in butter. And those are really good. And I made mini ones. I cut them. I used like the top of a bottle to cut the biscuits, and they were really good. And I used them as little biscuit poppers. The first session, I dipped in garlic butter sauce. The second, dipped in honey. And then I think probably going forward, I'll do honey. And I got powdered sugar too, maybe some jam. But yeah, that was the best part of my day, eating so good. That was the best part. But I think by the time I got to the drop biscuits and the third rib, I think that's when it became kind of like into overdoing it. I did drink plenty of water. Or at least I think I did. Maybe I didn't, but I drank a good amount of water, and I got a good amount of work done. So that's good. So the things that I did not do, I did not work on my business, which I probably won't work on them for a while because the other thing comes first, I guess. I'm not liking that, but it's true. And then the cleaning. Um, I think part of it is that too, and I don't know if it's a bad thing that I can tune it out. It probably is a bad thing. I can tune it out, but yeah. So I didn't work on the cleaning or the businesses, and like I said, it'd probably be a minute before I do. I could have at least cleaned the fridge. I didn't do that. Um, but honestly, I just worked on the outside funding, if you want to call it that. Not from, but that's pretty much what it is. I have to put myself in that mind frame. Um, and I've ate, which again is necessary. I'm gonna get hungry, so I have to eat. And I had TikTok videos on in the background, and I took my time. So, anyways, that was it. I guess I have time to look at the comments now, which there weren't many, but someone asked me, "Dream vlogs are the new wave." Kid Frankie says, "Oh yeah, I remember Kid Frankie for a while back." Well, it hasn't been a new wave for me. It's been a way of life for me all the time. You know, it's not like I don't know. I think some people think I'm really trying to like develop this channel or something like that. I'm really not. And then when you see me with the creative banners and stuff, it's not because I'm trying to. At one time, I thought I was going to try to make it a professional channel, and I try to delete all my videos, but I got so many I can't delete them. And I think it adds to the authenticity too. You know, and it would take too long. I had so many videos, but because I thought I had deleted them all, but it didn't, and I would have had to start over. But then I would have no videos, you know. And the thing about it is, if I want to monetize, remonetize again, I have to get my views up. So that's why you're seeing me making random posts too, because I don't want to work for anybody else anymore. And I remember you take it for granted. Like my channel, when it was monetized, I didn't ask for it to be monetized. And at first, I really didn't want to because I know they put commercials on your channel, and I didn't want no commercials on there because it's all propaganda. If you look at commercials that's on videos, it's always saying, "Oh, you can't speak, you can't write well," or "Oh, you're sick," or "Oh, you got this." It's always promoting misery, and I don't want to promote that on my channel, you know. But I guess the people that are smart, you know, they have YouTube and they haven't monetized, but for their real fans and people like that, they have Patreons and all of that where you don't get all those ads. You know, they're there genuinely to support whatever it is that person's talking about. So, and Kid Frankie asked me, what do I identify as? Um, Nothing. I mean, nothing. Just like, and I mean, and these days, like F46, even on things where you're applying to places and stuff, I tell the truth. I mean, it's just, and just like, because some of these questions that they ask, like, oh, they ask you for your name, then what name do you go by? And they make it required that you fill in what name you go by. And eh, that annoyed me. I was just like, well, anything that you can call me anything you like as long as it's said with respect and honor and reverence. You know, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Names never really matter to me anyway. The only reason I have a legal name on it is because it's required, you know. But none of that stuff matters to me. None of it. What matters is the person inside, you know, who the person is. Um, but yeah, but going back to the loss thing again, I absolutely do feel I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going from here. I know what my goals are and what I want. You know, basically, you know, I know, and these things that I say that I know are just things to keep me busy. You know, like the businesses are there to keep me busy. You know, because you got to have something to do. And then, as far as employment, it's to fund myself to keep myself busy. You know, um, oh yeah, but talking about these weird people, that's why I was talking about POF because weird people. I've noticed like I have these random white folks on my thing, and their eyes look so dead. It's like it's scary to me, but I block them immediately. And there's another one in there now that I'm gonna look at and probably block. Um, and then I get people that are weirdly related. And then this last place that I was at, just they were weird. Like looking at your I don't even want to talk about it. They were weird, but yeah. So, and when I say they, well, I guess it is they because I didn't want to say they if it was just one specific person. There was one specific person that really came to mind, but just overall, you know. But maybe people in general are weird these days. So yeah, but I've gotten it all out. I just needed to. That dream really got to me, so I just needed to put it out there. But anyways, I love you guys. Kid Frankie, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate your support. I'm sorry I didn't respond to you immediately. I typically don't when I do my vlogs, because once again, you get people that troll, and then you get off track. And as you can see, I can get off track all by myself because I still haven't gotten back to the part about me being lost, really. But I've said enough where I'm comfortable trying to drift back into sleep until it's time for me to get up. I'll probably have something playing in the background, YouTube, TikTok, something. Probably look at this message and delete this person, and that's it. But anyways, again, shout out to the people that have joined me over the past few days. And by join, I'm saying have been present during my lives and actually contributed by asking about me and what I'm doing. And Kid Frankie, that if you come ever here again the next time I see you, and like I said, when I'm vlogging and you can't see me, I'm generally not even looking. My eyes are closed because my allergies are so bad because I can't breathe. And if I happen to see a comment, it's usually because, like, when I went up to go blow my nose and come back, my eyes are open and I saw. But I've had situations where I saw it and I've decided to respond right then. And, it was something that took me way off base and trolling. But if I see you, Kid Frankie, because I see that you're trying to support, I will definitely stop whatever I'm talking about and address whatever you had to ask, because that's what brings energy to things. But um, that's not necessarily the goal of my channel, because I don't have, those types of followers. But I will definitely do that when I see you. I've seen you before and I appreciate it. So once again, shout out to Kid Frankie, to London Bully from last time, and from Anthony Bush, to Anthony Bush, who pops up every once in a while. Congratulations to him on living his best life. Being from up north, got his house, got his new car, and just living good. So I love all of you guys. When I say all, I mean whoever stopped by, didn't say anything. People that won't see until later, click on it by mistake for a second and click back off. You guys are appreciated. You have made yourself a part of my world for just a little bit of time, and it makes things a little easier. But anyways, good night. I'm going back to sleep.